That is an amazing testimony, Dr. Solomon. Now with that, can you give me a little history on noni?
Sure, James. It all started in around 200 years before Christ. And at that time, in the South Pacific, around Tahiti, they were using noni. The natives were taking noni. And in fact, they called it the canoe plant, because whenever the natives went from one island to another, they always had noni. This is what noni looks like, James. And they took it because if they got sick, they knew they could bite it, chew it up, or squeeze it, and make a juice. And it was also a good emergency food. It could keep them going in case of starvation. Things were pretty quiet until 1769, when Captain James Cook discovered noni at the island of Tahiti. When he went to Tahiti, what he found was noni. And he found people in the island, the natives particularly, were drinking, eating, and taking noni because they swore that it helped them with many, many health conditions. And a father would pass it down to the son would pass it down to a grandson. And it just kept going down and down. And it was just built into their culture. Then nothing much happened with noni until 1943, when during World War II, the American soldiers were looking for something to eat in case they got stranded in the Southwest Pacific. And what the Army did is the Army looked at different indigenous plants, and they came up with noni. And they said that noni is a verifiable, edible plant, and they put it in the military field handbook. Things again were pretty quiet until 1972. In 1972, Dr. Ralph Heineke, the man I phoned up and asked about, he discovered the serenine system. Now, the serenine system is a system of compounds and substances in noni that he believes does the good. It's the good activated part of noni. And then in 1993, two food scientists from Utah, John Wadsworth and Stephen Story, decided that they had to take this substance and make it edible. Make it so it tasted good, so that people in the United States could drink it, because they wanted to bring it to the United States. And they did. And they formulated what is now known as Tahitian Noni Juice. Again, from 93 to 96, not much happened, but in 96, it was released to the market. And since 96, it's amazing what's happened. In 2002, noni became from 0 to the number 6 in the top 10 medical herbs used in the United States.
Wow. I
mean, that's a meteoric rise.
That's amazing.
I've never heard any other substance to do that before. No other food supplement that I know has done that. In year 2003, noni juice passed, and particularly Tahitian noni juice, because that is the one that was studied. And that passed the inspection of Europeans' Novel Food Act Committee. That meant that it was safe and it could be used in Europe, and indeed it was. Also in 2003, Tahitian noni juice was listed in the PDR. That's the Physician's Desk Reference. And that is the Bible for drugs, and in this case, over-the-counter or food supplements. And they were listed as a food supplement, and again, it was safe. And in 2004, there were over 64 scientific studies that were listed and published on noni, and these can be found at PubMed.com.
Wow, that's a pretty long and detailed history. Now, to kind of help us frame today's discussion, give us an idea of the depth and the breadth of your research. How many health professionals and noni drinkers did you contact, and how many countries did your research encompass?
What I did is I went around the world, not once, but twice. I wanted to talk to professionals, health professionals, who used Tahitian Noni Juice and recommended for their clients. And then I wanted to talk to the people that they had recommended it to see how they did. It was amazing what I found. There were over 1,200 health professionals that had used it. And I invited them to send me their study data and send me what they had found. And they did. They have sent me all kinds. And that represented over 25,000 Tahitian Noni drinkers. That's a lot of people that drank
Yes,
Tahitian Noni juice. And my study started in '96 and has gone till the present time. And this encompassed over 80 countries and 29 different health conditions where Tahitian Noni juice helped.
Wow, that's a pretty long trip, isn't it? Has there been much research and publishing done on noni?
Yes, there has. It started back with Dr. Ralph Heinecke, and by 1999, when I wrote a book about this called The Noni Phenomenon, I cited over 20 references about Tahitian Noni juice. And in 2004, when I wrote the next book about this, the comprehensive book about it, called The Noni Solution, it had escalated to over 90 references. So it just was shooting up. More and more people, more and more health professionals were finding out about it and studying it.